All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Serious Angler podcast, where, as always, our main course for you will be talking and hopefully teaching you more about bass fishing. And with this crew, that does not come without a distraction or 10 here or there. Whether you guys are here to learn or just hear some bass and banter, y'all are in the right spot. I'm your host, Bailey Egbert, and joined with me is the Bassin captain, Mr. Andy Full, and Idaho's finest stash, Mr. Adam Deacon. Fellas, it's October. Fall is in the air, and I say that because I have been sipping on some apple cider,
I was
and this is my crack of the fall.
curious what that was. I love it.
Yeah. There's very few times that I go for those sugary drinks because I don't drink soda or nothing like that. But apple cider, I just, especially, I'll asterisk it. Apple cider from an Amish stand, it is my crack. That is, I can douse a gallon in a day.
I found a
Now,
I found a
there,
neat little holiday drink a while ago. I haven't. This was a couple years ago.
don't say eggnog.
No. I'm talking about with apple cider. I mean, obviously you can do like a warm apple cider with like some kind of whiskey or a bourbon or something. But
Right.
there was like a something you would expect not to be good, but it was like a Christmas margarita, and it was literally like tequila, apple cider, cinnamon, and like orange juice or something. It was phenomenal. Like
Hmm.
on ice, it was
Oh, dude, that
so
does
good.
sound good.
It was
That
so
sounds
good.
very good.
Well, we're talking about apple cider. Bailey, I was going to tell you, you need to go to Wegmans and they sell a sweet tango apple cider. It's unreal.
Sweet what?
If it's not some beat up looking stand on the corner in
I
Amish
don't want
country,
them.
I don't want it. Yeah.
Whatever. I'm just telling you, it's good.
Andy, please tell me you've gone to some of these Amish stands out in the country below Buffalo and gotten like apples and cider.
Of course, and I always buy the pastries and the pies too, right?
Dude,
Like
the cider
second to
donuts.
none. Yes,
Oh
so
my
good.
God.
So good. We went apple picking a few weeks ago, and this place had like monkey apple bread, and it was out of this world.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. So like, yeah,
Well,
I'm all about
bulking
that life.
season, baby. This is when we bulk
All
up.
about that life. Yeah.
This is my time to get white girl on them, dude, and get that the cider donuts. Like,
He said, I'm gonna get white girl on him, right?
yeah, that's right.
Egg on the LB so they
It's the
crash diet.
closest to level of a Starbucks you'll ever catch me at is in the fall
Yeah.
with the cider stuff. I don't do that pumpkin spice crap, whatever. I just with the
It's like,
cider though, I I'm a yeah.
it's like warm up my cider, and I want a dash of whipped cream on top
Yeah, screw a
with a
dash.
cinnamon stick,
Load that shit up, dude.
Oh
a
man.
spritz, a
I don't know
spritz of
what it
whipped
is,
cream.
dude. Maybe it's hunting season. It just gets me all in that kind of like the sweets mood, you know. I don't ever eat donuts throughout the year, but like something about cider donuts, on your way to the deer stand, like
Oh man.
I
You
love
know,
it. I
what
love
place has
donuts.
really good cider donuts is right over by you, Mayer Brothers.
Yeah. So that's actually what
Legit.
this is. This I have my Amish stash in the fridge, but this is actually Mayer Brothers cider right here.
It's good
Uh,
stuff.
yeah, it's good for family, but it's you got to save the good stuff for yourself. Right? You gotta
Yes.
have your stash. Which, by the way, so we are talking about hunting, and I don't mean to go on this tangent because if you listen to Monday's podcast with Deacon and I and Spencer Sheffield, shout out Spencer winning the U.S. Open over on Mojave. But I do have a really funny story, and it's very embarrassing for me, but I thought it was hilarious, and you guys would enjoy this because my father thoroughly enjoyed it when I called him and told him after the fact. But um, I just got to tell you boys because it's too good not to tell. And I figure we got to tell it on air. You got to make myself a little vulnerable here.
I like
I
it.
think the people will enjoy it. But so essentially, long story short, I went hunting yesterday, scouting out a new area, and the ticks have been absolutely horrible in New York this year.
You still
Like,
have ticks? It's
Oh
dude,
not
yeah.
yeah,
cold?
like bad. Like, I mean, I got them at boat ramps this year. And it was the first year I've ever gotten them at boat ramps, which is crazy. We're just waiting for that first freeze to get rid of these suckers.
Got it.
Either way, long story short, I knocked a couple off me while I was scouting through these woods, and I get back to the truck, and this is Boonies, New York. Like, not a house for miles, like absolute quiet. My favorite part of New York. And I look down the road. I'm parked off in a little grassy, like not even like a parking spot. No one's on this road. Okay, it's a dirt road, Boonies. I'm like, all right. So I check for myself for ticks. I lift up my shirt, dude, and I have 3 ticks on my stomach. and I just like start batting them off and everything. And I'm just like losing my mind because I've never had more than one tick on me at one time. And I always bring a spare set of clothes because I change into them. So like, because of ticks. And I start stripping down and I'm like,
I
in
know
my
where this is
boxers,
going.
dude, I'm in my boxers, making sure I have no ticks on me. My legs are good. Chest is good. And I fold my truck mirror in so that I can see my back. And dude, again, vulnerable moment. I'm just checking my butt, dude, just to make sure there's no ticks. Dude, I hear, "Excuse me, sir," right behind me, and it scares the living hell out of me. It's our freaking DEC, the Fishing Game, and he catches me clear as day, checking my butt cheeks in my truck rear view mirror.
No.
He goes, "Oh shit, I'm sorry." And I'm like, "I'm just checking for ticks, man. This ain't what it looks like."
He's like, I'm ticking out here.
Oh, dude, it was so funny. Long story short, dude, I was good. I put my clothes back on because I was whatever, and I was like, "Sorry, man, you called me at the absolute worst time." And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Sorry about that. I didn't mean to walk up on you. I saw you walking down the dirt road from my binocular." He was hiding in the woods, like watching hunters come in.
Yep.
And long story short, he was doing his job, which I appreciate seeing them out there in the field anyway. But we both got a good laugh out of it, and I was like, "Well, we became pretty familiar pretty fast, so I guess we'll see you around here, I guess."
It's like I will remember those cheeks for the rest of my life.
I mean, dude, you just walk around a truck to a guy with his no shirt on in his jimmies, checking his butt for ticks, and it's just like, wow. I'm like, this is too good not to tell.
Oh,
That's good.
man.
Yeah.
He is also telling that same story for sure to all his
Oh
buddies.
yeah. He's like,
dude.
You'll never believe what happened today.
Yeah, my dad said on the phone, he's like, "Dude, you know for a fact he's getting on the radio as soon as he gets back to the truck. You guys would not believe what just happened."
Yeah.
He was this old dude. He kind of looked like Sam Elliott, dude. Almost kind of like a spitting image of him, but really good dude doing his job. I appreciate seeing our Fishing Game out there doing what they're
Absolutely.
supposed to be doing.
Heck
But
yeah.
other words, what have you boys been up to besides getting caught with your pants down?
No, well, we haven't been there. So no, we're just still bassing, no hunting here, and waiting for that fall bite to turn on. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think we're almost there, man. Where that switch is gonna click.
Doesn't feel like it.
It feels like it here. We've had a nice little front come in, and it's been great. I mean, the high country got some snow. Down where I'm at, it's cold, and it's been I'm loving it. So I'm excited for that. I heavy loaded my archery season, so I don't really have much else hunting wise except for bird hunting. So I am dialed in on the fishing, and we've got Clear Lake in about a month for the BAM 60 championship. So excited to go chase that down.
Chase that dub.
Chase it down, baby.
Yeah. I am trying to freaking get a deer down so I can go fishing. I have not been fishing in 10 days, and it is killing me. But then I also get serious FOMO not being in the woods. I decided not to go hunt last night and get some work done, get some video editing done. And of course, my Moultrie cameras were lighting up on me last night. And it seems like every morning or afternoon you don't choose to go hunting is when everything happens.
So here's what you need to do. On the days you plan to go, don't go. And the days you don't plan to go, actually go. Reverse psychology on it.
So I should just go every day, all day. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
All right. Perfect.
Yes.
But yeah. In other words, for folks, sorry for all the chaos here and the introduction, but we do have an awesome episode for you guys.
Like
Mr.
cheeky.
Tommy Wood. Yeah, cheeky. Nice usage, Andy. Nice. But Mr. Tommy Wood, another Australian angler chasing the dream over here in the States. And we have an amazing episode with him. But before we do, Deacon, what's been the buzz around the industry?
Yeah, man. I think the biggest thing worth chatting about right now is probably the Omnia Thorn Bros combo here. So we're gonna luckily get Matt on to talk a little bit more about this in itself. But Thorn Bros backing some of the stock and backlog for Omnia going forward to keep stuff in stock better with the website, which, been open about. That stuff can be, it's frustrating when you want that bait and it's not there. I mean, there's great email lists and those sorts of things, but Omnia is listening to what their customers want. So great to see that combo of things. Any thoughts from you guys on that?
I'll be interested to see the difference in inventory they have and new products that probably be coming to Omnia. Like from what I know of Thorne Brothers, they're relatively JDM heavy in a lot of their product lines. So it's going to be cool to see some of those interesting baits now at the tips of our fingers and how many people will take advantage with their premium pro membership. So it'll be good to see.
Yeah. This year I actually made a couple orders from Thorne Brothers. I've never made orders there before. But in searching for something specific, I just saw, I want to say it was Mav, who was one of the YouTubers that I think he did an ice fishing route with Thorne Brothers. And I remember like, oh, they have a tackle shop. And I went and looked. Andy nailed it. They had a bunch of JDM stuff. It looks like you took somebody that knows what they're talking about and is fishy, and they had them build a online like inventory of baits. And so it's not like they just have just the chalk. They got some of the good stuff too, just like Omnia. And so them partnering together, I think, is going to be a double-headed dragon going forward, especially with Omnia's
100%.
capabilities, with the subscription standpoint, with the mapping and the pro features. I think together it's going to be really interesting to see what happens going forward. And like Deacon said, we'll have Matt Johnson, the CEO of Omnia, on next week. Either next week's episode or the following week's, but either way, it's coming shortly to talk full scale of what does this mean for now? What does it mean for future? What does it mean for both brands? But Thorne Brothers, obviously, you can see the logo. It's a muskie in their logo. So they bring the multi-species angle to it as well, which I think is one weakness. I think that Omnia had. They didn't really have much more than just bass stuff
Correct.
to shop for. And I think we have a lot of people that listen to this show that also crappie fish, that also walleye fish. And so I think this only makes both brands stronger. We'll be interesting to see going forward. But
Yeah.
100%.
My introduction to Thorne Bros was this year at the Classic, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a wicked booth set up. I don't know if you guys remember that, but and when everything else JDM was sold out, they had a stockpile for whatever reason. They were loaded, so I frequented that. And then once I found some stuff that was at the Classic with them, a lot of friends like, hey, have you been able to find X bait? I can't find it anywhere online. And I'm like, I know a place that I bet has it. And sure enough, it did. So it'll be cool to see.
They got that sneaky sneak. That's for sure.
They got that sneaky sneak.
So looking forward to getting Matt on here to talk about that.
No doubt. I think next big deal, right? The Ultimate Angler Championship. I didn't really know about, I had heard from some friends that were fishing it early in the year about this thing, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. And then bam, it hit. And it was like,
yeah,
oh man. Well, Roy Hawk wasn't at our Super 60 on the Delta because he was down there practicing for the Ultimate Angler Championship, but no forward facing sonar, massive payout. I mean, Tucker Smith wins that 500K. He is the dude when it comes to one-off major events, right? Crazy to see that. And the payout was huge all the way down the list. All the pros were, crazy.
He's got to be the youngest angler to $1 million.
He did it in one tournament. Well, I guess half of it was his. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
insane.
Pretty freaking ridiculous, dude. Like, it's, I think I had a standings pull up here. It was 130 grand for second, which was Jacob Wall. Randy Howell third with 80 grand. I think it was down to Lee Livesey in fifth was 50 or 60 grand. Something ridiculous. Just, money bags.
Show me
dude.
the money.
Money bags. So my only thing in here, there's two wishes. It looked like it was a great on-site event for attendance from the little coverage I saw. And that is wish number one. Wish number one is this continues and continues at the level it's at, because we've talked about for so long of professional fishing. If anything, the payouts have only gone down. They have not improved in regards to the amount of money you can win. So this event being around where you can get in the top 5 and win 50 plus grand, let alone winning $500,000 for first. I hope they can continue. 2, I hope the coverage picks up, which I think number 2 will be a guarantee off of if number 1 happens, where if this continues, there's going to be more coverage, where it's hopefully whoever's behind the scenes comes together and invites groups down there to help cover it. Whether it's media or content creators, whomever, news stations, whatever, the more coverage you can get leading up to this, the better, and the more marketing preemptive to the event, the better. Because like you mentioned it, you hit it on the head, Deacon, where it's like, and we knew of it. We knew when it was launched. We knew nothing about it until literally day one it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was strictly through the anglers that were posting about it. That was where we heard all of it. And they do have a page, and they tried to do some social media, but it looked like their social media or content game was shorthanded, and probably because they don't have limited, groups or team to help. And obviously their primary focus was putting on the event, which looked like a spectacle, man. Stage looked great, like all that stuff. Like it looked like they made a spectacle out of it.
Yeah, I think I don't know this, and I don't know exactly how it was funded, but I think the reason I could see it continuing was because you could qualify from all these different sorts of events anywhere. You just had to pay like the fee to then get in. Like there was even online tournaments that could qualify for this, right? So it was like if you pay the membership fee, which I want to say is like $500. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But essentially, you have thousands of people across the country paying that fee, right? To then a certain number, still a big number, qualify to come to this event. So I think that's where the dollar amounts got so high to continue with that payout way down. So kind of an interesting model, and it's solid. I mean, it kind of reminds me of what's the big bass? Those big bass tournaments.
Big Bass Tour.
Yeah, kind of like a similar concept with that, where you have a really large field scale, and then in this case, it was slimmed down for the actual event. But I mean, big names from all over, right? Like you look down that list and you're like, holy cow, some hammers here.
Yeah,
massive
100%.
names. Yeah, I mean that's what people have been wanting, right? They mean maybe not to that scale of size field, but I think regardless, beggars can't be choosers. They wanted a meeting of the trails to compete, get the best of the best, and they had the best of the best.
No doubt about it.
They really did. I'm sure. Obviously, there's a few outliers that weren't there, of course. Like Spencer Sheffield winning the U.S. Open, not being at that event because they coincided. Like I think Polnick wasn't there. Like there's obviously a few outliers that would be cool to see in coming years, but yeah, I just hope they keep it going, man. And it looked like they had the tourism boards on with that too,
board.
which
Yeah,
that gives you some faith that hopefully this can keep going. And it'll be interesting to see though if it stays the same location or if this is a traveling event that goes to different fisheries. Who knows? All I know is if it stays at Gunnersville, then
I bet it will.
I mean, good luck with Tucker Smith for years to come because that kid is filthy, dude, and definitely shut some people up. The best part was Milliken's story over the weekend. So Milliken, of course, competing in the U.S. Open, almost wins it, gets second place, and it was shout out to Ben Milliken for that.
Yeah.
Took his time though on social media to be like, "This is incredible," showing Tucker winning, and he goes, "And this is gold." And it was some guy in the old boomer in the comments saying how that's all your screens. That's the only reason you're winning, and everyone just roasting him, saying that they can't use forward facing this event. So it was nice to see him shut those people up, man. But
love it.
It's
100%.
Do you guys think that like this is actually the future of fishing? Like we just need a happy mix of style events to keep this sport honest, or I don't know. Like I personally, I really love seeing the mix. Like Bassmaster, I don't know how I feel yet about next year for Bassmaster, but like you have a trail that uses forward facing, you have a trail that doesn't. You have a mix, and then you have events that are, hey, let's just not use it for this event and kind of do it the old fashioned way.
Yeah,
I kind of like seeing it.
I kind of like the one-off events where like, yeah, like no forward facing. Let's see what we can do here. And surprise, surprise, it's almost all the same faces at the top, but we won't dive too deep into that. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think we're still in this phase of trying to figure out what to do with this technology, right? Like I don't know what the right move is. I don't know. I struggle with it because it's again the thing that I struggle with all this is the confusion to the fans. It's just so confusing to like, here's one way to do it. Here's another way to do it. There's no regulation. Like, it's just like, okay, how are we actually doing this? So that's what I struggle with. And maybe we'll figure that out. But like, it's fun to see the difference in the mixes and the changes. And it gives us certainly something to talk about. But I'm curious where it'll all end up. Like 5 years from now, what will this look like? And I couldn't begin to imagine like on either side of this, of whether it's all gone or it's crazy advanced. I don't know where that's going to go.
Yeah. I think what Andy said about the one-offs doing it, I think it's why you don't see any anglers complaining about it for that event of like, this is fair game for everybody. It's one-off event, big money. I think it's when your league changes your rules every single year going forward and can't make up their minds that gets frustrating. I think not just for the anglers, I think for everybody, fans especially. It's how do we keep up with this thing, man? And it's making it a lot more challenging to keep up with. But that's for a whole nother episode for a whole nother day that we probably won't ever get into. But either way, anything else business from the bass boat wise, Deacon, for today?
Yeah, man. I guess the last kind of things, obviously, we already talked about Spencer winning the U.S. Open. U.S. Open's so historic. Super cool to go listen to that pod. That was last week's Seriously Western show, but just the what it meant to him was more than I ever expected. So that was cool to see, his reaction on winning that with the history of the U.S. Open. Man, new baits out, right? We've got the Berkeley Flux Gill buzz bait and then the Z-Man swim bait. So three baits really right there.
Yeah, Z-Man with basically kind of, I think we're seeing a bunch of these bigger brands start doing more of the category fillers, if you will, but their version of the mag draft, which I'm honestly, of all the ones that have come out, I am kind of intrigued about the Z-Man one, simply off of if it is like with the Elastec.
Yeah.
I am kind of intrigued by that.
I'll have to reach out to my guy over at Z-Man and see if we can get a lure lab.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was going to say, don't put that thing next to anything else. Ruin it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the one thing. Yeah. Storage wise, that's a big bait to ruin. That's for dang sure.
Here's a business question for you both. And it'd be interesting to get someone really ingrained and knowledgeable on this, kind of maybe for a business from the investment segment. But like with the tariff talk and all the changes in tariffs, we've seen baits go up in price significantly, right? Like every time I look, I'm like, crap, frogs are now $15 or whatever else. Does this open the door, or is there still not enough margin for like in, USA built baits? I mean, there's obviously like Sixth Sense has their own factory and do things. There's certain brands that have things that are built in certain places already, still having to get generally supplies, it seems like, from across, the world and the globe. But like, does this open a window where you have manufacturers go and do that? Is there too much risk in doing that? Because then if tariffs change, like what is your guys' overall thought with that?
Well, from talking to a local tackle shop here, I know some rod companies have begun to move like operations out of China that deal specifically with the U.S. and they're moving them to South Korea to kind of like get away from like the tariff deal and stuff. Because we have, so you might see like a bigger influx of bait producers moving to factories that are already set up to do it, i.e. like the South Korea, Vietnam, might even see some stuff actually move back to Japan, right? Like, so that'll be interesting to see where it goes. I don't know if it will happen in the US just because our labor here is so expensive compared to like other places in the world. They would probably be the same price if they were made in the US, and that's why they were made in China to begin with, right? Like they would have been 10 times more expensive 5 years ago if they were made domestically.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think my business smarts or my knowledge anyway is equipped to speak on what it might do and not do. I think the more we can get things stateside, I think the better each individual product's going to be made. It's just probably going to become more expensive, as Andy hit on. But I think you might start seeing more kind of garage style swim bait drops from companies if they do that, because you're not gonna be able to as mass produce. I feel like if you bring things more stateside, from it, if you mentioned Deacon of like getting the supplies needed to make something mass produced, where you might see more limited drop. Like Missile Baits came out with their new bait. They like re-released it, but it was a limited quantity. So you might see people that just do kind of like swim bait drops. We're like, hey, we have 1,000 of these. It's gonna go on sale this date, and it might be just limited editions of stuff. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with all of it. I don't think I'm the person to be equipped to even speak on it, to say the least. But I think the more brands filling categories is good for the general angler because it gives us options. And if one's out of stock, you can go with the other. Obviously, I'm sure one's better than the other, but it gives us different things to present the fish. So who knows? And obviously, Z-Man's always made quality stuff with this new swag swim bait. Is what it's called, the Z-Man swag. It'll be interesting to see how it works. But and then the new Berkeley Flux Gill. It looks like kind of their version of the G-Crack
Bellows Gill.
Bellows Gill. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Which nothing else out there was like it, and they brought in that hex design to it. So it looks pretty good. I mean, Ruds showed me some clips of it, of him using that, and it's got some pretty wild action to it. We'll be intrigued kind of see comparison of the two. And then looks like Berkeley's joined the buzzbait game, which we've been seeing all their pros going pretty nutty on it on social media. It sounds pretty badass, dude. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Pretty dang loud. I think it's called the Riveter.
Riveter, yes, indeed.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think buzzbait piques my interest. So
I was gonna say you're a buzzbait king, dude. Love that thing.
I don't know about king. We can say addict. I don't say king. But either way, intrigued. But man, boys, anything else? Obviously, as always, guys, all the links to the people that we work with, discount stuff, the Hobie Eyewear, Omnia Fishing, all that jazz, is always down below. But fellas, anything else for the folks before we get into the show with Tommy Wood?
No, man.
Not this moment.
As always, check out our fellows over at Rec Lending as a part of that segment. Man, a lot of boats getting sold right now. I don't know about you guys looking on the used market. There's a pile of them out there. So if it's time for somebody to look at a used boat, it's a good time now. And if you're looking for financing options, check those boys out. And
back to the boat buying drawing board we go this winter.
But for the last couple of years, I've just gotten from Bailey, what about this one? What about this one? And I love it.
Andy and Deacon will be like, yeah, dude, it's a great boat. You should go with that. And then it's like silence. And then the next day it's like, hey, what about this list? It's like, what happened to the one yesterday? Like, yeah, I'm sure you guys are sick of it at this point. I'm sure the rec
you're fine anytime.
It's good.
I'm sure the rec lending folks are sick of it because I call them like, hey, what about this boat? What about this boat? I'm like, son of a freak. We're gonna quote this guy 200 boats before we actually go through.
Move on one. That's right.
That's what makes them cool though, is they'll go through all of that, annoying or not, and help you out. But
that's right.
Folks, without further ado, let's get into today's episode with Mr. Tommy Wood.
It just likes his face.
Yeah, he's like, I like that stash. Give me that stash. We got two nice stashes.
Love the stash.
I know Andy had a nice stash. His wife,
dude, Andy's was wicked. I think that's what we gotta. After this show, we gotta talk the intro about just how we're so upset with Andy's wife for making him.
I know. Sorry, Amanda.
Yeah. I walked in the door and she was like off, and I'm like, okay,
unbelievable.
Usually it's a good thing when you go home and your wife tells you off, but
yeah. Normally that's a good thing, Andy.
Like my one daughter started crying, and I was like, "Yeah, I gotta get rid of this." She looked at me and ran away and cried.
Oh my god!
That's so good.
Way to start
it was fantastic, though. It was like super thick, and it just ended. Like I trimmed it perfectly at 3 a.m.
You have to get like the bars next time and wrap right down.
Yeah. I said next year I'm just gonna come straight down with it and just like go bald in the middle. And my wife was absolutely not. I was like, you won't see me from the moment I do it till I get home. Like, be 20 minutes, I'll just take it off. You'll be fine.
Give me hours with it. Come on.
I think it needs to be a mainstay, and it's honestly, this is a perfect start to this podcast. I'm leaving all of that in there. There's gonna be no editing on that start there. I mean, Tommy, dude, welcome to the show, man. It's you already got the Bastion looking down for the States. Like you got like that early fighter flow. The stash is gonna get a little bit longer. Like you got the look going, man.
Yeah, trying to fit in as much as I can. Got the bass hat on, but seems like
until you start talking.
And then everyone sort of turns their head like, "Where are you from?" But it's crazy. I've had like people ask me like what state I'm from with my accent before. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even like from this country. I'm from Australia, and they're like, "Oh, really?" Like I'll go up to New York, and they're like, "Are you from Alabama or something?" I'm like, "Nah, Australia."
Yeah, wrong A.
Close.
A.
They both start with A, but like different parts of the world, man.
Yeah,
6,000, 7,000 miles apart.
Yeah. I just think
I
because we
feel
come
like
from random little towns, very uneducated people, and
you get that all over the States. That's for damn sure.
yeah,
You're gonna get that with us three. Three guys above you right now. You're gonna have that. But now, dude, I feel Alabama. That's wild. I mean, I think if any accent is close to Australian, I would say like probably Boston or like the Bronx or something like that.
yeah. It's
Dang, I could maybe see that. It's its own place.
Maybe like I mean, if anything, but I feel like Australian accent's pretty distinct in itself.
yeah. I think especially if you haven't heard like the Boston accent before, you'd probably pick it up. Like that's all you could probably think. Like the last thing you'd think seeing some kid in a country town with a bass boat is that he's from Australia. So it's probably probably fair on their part, really.
Yeah. Well, dude, I guess this is a great segue into leading off this show of like, tell people who you are, man, like more about your story. And I know obviously the hardcore Bassin folk have been following along with your story, but tell the masses of like what the heck you're doing over here in the States, where you're from, how'd you get here?
Yeah, well, I've followed bass fishing since I was so young, and I've always sort of I was pretty lucky when I grew up. My dad was like right into fishing, so he got into marlin fishing years ago, and he loved it. And he took me out when I was young, and I think when I was 6 years old, I caught my first marlin, and it was just me and him on his boat, and caught a marlin, and it was crazy. And we used to like go out there for like a whole weekend, stay on the boat like at Fraser Island and stuff, and just was absolutely sport growing up. But he also liked like barramundi fishing, which is they're kind of like a big largemouth bass across a tarpon, and just absolutely mean. Like you can thumb them and everything. They got like that sandpaper mouth and all that, but you still have to use like minimum like 60-pound fluorocarbon leader because they'll just like chew through it by just clenching on it, and with tight drag it just pops it. And so I saw the power of those fish, and I just got so hooked on it, and used to love being out in the lake. And I always found myself always going back to fishing freshwater lakes and impoundments and stuff, and just loved it. And when I think I was about 10 or 11 years old, my mum bought me this Xbox game, and it was the Rapala like pro fishing, and I'd play that heaps. And then like there was like these like segments on there which would show you, like one of them was like how to catch a smallmouth bass on a skitter pop, or like a rattle trap for a largemouth bass. And I used to like watch these videos like for like hours, like over and over again. I was just obsessed with it. And then I go to the lake for a barra, try the same techniques, and it never worked. But like I just seen these largemouth bass and smallmouth bass, and I was like, man, that's so cool. And like you could see in the background just the beautiful country, like the pine trees and the big rocky hills and stuff, and sort of fell in love with it. And then from there, we had like FLW got streamed like all over the world, so you could see FLW. And I remember like watching Ish Monroe like crack him on a frog and stuff, and I was like, this looks cool. And from there, like I was just Rapala was like used to be the brand, like, and especially with bass fishing. And from there, you know, seeing like Brandon Polnick, he used to be sponsored by Rapala. Followed him on like Instagram since I was a kid, and just got to sort of see it all online and fell in love with it. And then obviously Carl got into it years ago, and following his journey, I remember like when I was super young, he made like a DVD of like his first trip to the States, and I was just like, wow, I've got to get over there one day and try it. And always sort of been a goal for me, and I just kind of like had in the back of my mind, like that's eventually what I want to do, is try and make it bass fishing somehow, like professionally, whether it was Bassmaster, MLF, or whatever. I just wanted to be over there fishing full time. Like that, it just intrigued me so much. And so with that goal set, I just sort of try to make everything possible over here. And me and Dad like started a marine electrical business years ago, and started from absolutely nothing, and it built up like crazy. So it gave me the opportunity to sort of go away and fish, and then come back and work as much as I can to sort of save up as well. And like he put me on some good jobs, and he'd be like, if you want to take Friday off, you can work Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He said, I'll give you every bit of the hourly rate, like, and then you can sort of like, I'll just work like 12-hour days, freaking pump it out, make even money, put it in the bank, and just like kept piling a heap of cash trying to get over here. And then I just fished tournaments, and eventually Carl came over in 2022, and I got to talk to him. I'm like, man, 2025 is the year I want to give it a go. And he's like, all right, you need to come next year. And I was like, I wasn't ready to come at all. My finances weren't like ready at all. But he's like, come next year. Like, there's a whole group of Australians coming for the Classic. It's like such a good opportunity. And I was like, damn, okay. So I had like a couple months to get my stuff together. And the guys that run the tournaments in Australia, it's called ABT, which is Australian Bass Tournaments. And they had a group of like, I think there was probably 30 or 40 Australians. And it only cost like a couple grand to get in. And they organized like the flights, accommodation for the Classic in the week. So,
cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, so came in, saw the Classic, and that was my first time into the country. It was 2023. And I got to know Gussie then when he came to Australia. Got to know Carl. So watching Gussie win that Classic, and I was like, holy crap, this is crazy. Like, first time in the country, watched the Bassmaster Classic go down, and I was just like, wow, I've got to get back here. And I ended up spending 3 months there that trip, because I was on like an ESTA, which is like a type of visa you can get. And spent 3 months, did 4 tournaments as a co-angler. And like, my goal was just to cash check in one of them, and end up getting a win in one, and then cash check in every event. And I was like, I've got to get back here. So the next like year and a half, I just worked so hard. Like, Dad just put me up like through the ringer with some work, and we just pumped out a heap of work, put some cash together, and came here this year and gave the boating side a go as a pro for the first time. And absolutely crazy year. This has been the most fun year of my life. Like, made some friends for life, and traveling the country, bass fishing, and it's been a crazy experience. Learn a lot, and we're in the EQs now. It's been a crazy.
Yeah, dude.
So
it's all so fast.
the what blows me away is the co-angler side. I don't know. I know, Bailey, you fished as a co-angler. Andy, I'm not sure about yourself, but when like, that is crazy impressive to come here, never been here at all, cash a check in every event, and then win one. Like, that's insane.
Yeah,
that is nuts.
Yeah, I got, because I knew Gussie, he sort of paired me up with Jamie Bruce from Canada as like to travel with and stuff.
Oh, nice.
He
that helps.
And he was so dialed with the minnow and all that. And the crazy thing is about the minnow, I remember in 2022, this was in November, Carl and Gussie were saying like, I was like, oh, what's like the next big thing? And they're like, oh, like a jig head with like a fluke style bait. And he's like, you just throw it out, you just almost like wind it, like barely even move it, and like they'll just come up and eat it. And I was like, can't really see that working, but I'll take your word for it.
Here we are.
Yeah. And then,
2 years later.
Yeah. Gussie wins it, and then like Gussie and Jamie Bruce had all like, they've been throwing that minnow for years. Like, they called it moping. Mm-hmm. So I like watched Gussie win the Classic, and then I was fishing with Jamie Bruce a couple of weeks later on Toledo Bend, and he was like shaking that jerk shad over the top of brush, and like, you just watch like 4 and 5 pounders race out. Like, I was just watching the scope from the back of the boat, and I was like, oh my god, like, this technique is killer. And no one else on the opens was really throwing it yet, and I was always like, why is no one throwing this thing? And then obviously by the end of that year, it just blew out of the park. Yeah. And throwing it. But yeah, I was kind of lucky to get paired with Brucey, and he taught me so much. And he's like, he's like, if you want to do well in co-angling, he's like, this is the baits you got to throw. And like, he was such a good guide, and we'd have the best time on the water. And the one I won was actually Wheeler Lake, and I had Justin Kimmel, and he's like he's won a heap of co-angler stuff. So he was great. And like, from the start of the day, you know, he's like doing the same thing, like sort of guiding me along. And he's like, we're fishing these offshore stumps, and he was scoping them. And like, usually you get backboated when someone's scoping, but every time you'd like fish a stump, you'd go over and you'd be like, all right, cast 60 foot, that angle back there. And I'd like throw my jig back. I'd feel the stump and go dong, crack it. And I was catching like 3 to 4 pounders. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. And like,
That's awesome.
I've never even caught a fish on a jig before. So it was like, that was all new. And that was the first day. And then the second day I had, I can't remember his name, but I rang him up and he's like, because we fished offshore like 15 to 20 foot all day. And then the next day, my guy's like, yeah, we're going dirt shallow, throwing a swim jig and a spinnerbait and a frog. And I was like, far out. Like, I've never even caught a bass on a frog or a swim jig. Never even thrown. I was like, I was in the lead after day one too, so I couldn't sleep all night. I'm like thinking, man, like, how am I going to back this up tomorrow? Went out the next day, caught a couple good ones on a spinnerbait pretty quick, and then went into this grass, and he was cracking them on a swim jig. And I was like, dude, do you mind if I throw a swim jig? And he's like, yeah, go for it. So tied it on. First time I've ever been throwing a swim jig. Like 10 minutes in, like popping it over the grass. Like, I just watched heaps of videos on how to throw it, so I had like a rough idea on how to use it.
Yeah.
And seeing this 4 pounder come out and just eat it through those like that like short grass in Alabama, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. But ended up leading both days, got the win, and yeah, I was frothing.
So it was your first one that you won?
No, that was the third one. So I had a
third one. All right.
Yeah, I think the first one I did was Toledo Bend. That was crazy. That was such a cool lake to see. And then second one was Bugs Island in like North Carolina, I think. And then Wick Lake, and the last one was Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma, and that was a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
But
what was that first frog catch like for you coming over here, never throwing it before?
Crazy. I just couldn't believe they like eat it through the grass. Like our fish don't eat through the grass in Australia. I remember like having like throwing a frog over the top of the grass. I'm like, I just don't feel confident doing this. And then it just goes poof, just like puts a hole in the grass, and the frog just goes straight down. I missed the first couple because I just ripped him out. I'm like, all right, I got to slow down and let him eat it.
Have you gone back home and tried to catch like the barramundi through the grass of the frog? They just won't eat it.
Yeah, they just won't eat it. Our barra are so strange, like, because they're actually like a saltwater fish. They're a saltwater fish, but they spawn their fingerlings in the fresh, and they grow up in what we call billabongs, but it's kind of like an Everglade, and it's like a trapped backwater freshwater. So they grow up in these lily pads and like tannin stained black water, and then we have this flood every year, and those little barra go down the salt and live. But all of our lakes are stocked with these barra, so they're kind of like, I don't think they're really comfortable being in those lakes, so they don't bed in fresh water, like they don't spawn in fresh water, so they're kind of just milling around. And the only time they get in the grass is kind of like throughout the day to sort of cover their eyes from the sun. So you'll see them in there. There is one lake you can sight cast them with a frog pretty good, but it's more like a zoom horny toad, that sort of style of frog with like an EWG, and like you can sight cast them, they'll be like head down in the grass, just sort of barely even like awake, and you like throw it over them, and you got to be super subtle, get across their eyes, and you like watch all their fins fire up, and they start chasing it, and then just boof it off the top.
Oh, it's fun as crap.
That's sick.
Oh, it's but yeah, these things are. I just can't believe how aggressive these largemouth can be. But then they can just shut right off.
Oh
yeah, finicky little pricks. That man's smallmouth.
Oh yeah, smallies are crazy too. That was my first time going up chasing smallmouth. Was this year too. When we went up to, I think St. Lawrence was my first event, and that was crazy. Like just seeing the blue water, how crystal clear it was, and like they seem like real easy to catch, but like how pressured the St. Lawrence was when we got there. I think they just had like an MLF there. And like you throw your minnow out or finesse jig or drop shot, and they'll like race straight up to it. I'm like, oh, we're about to get on here, and they just sort of peel back off, and just crazy how like finesse you had to be to get them to bite.
Yeah. What was that like, dude? Going to St. Lawrence and seeing that big of water that you guys had to fish?
That was crazy. Just so much water, and like you look on the chart trying to find like a area to fish, and there's like all these underwater humps, points, like everything looks good. And like almost everywhere you pull up, there'd be a bass on it, and like they just wouldn't bite. Like for me anyway, I couldn't get them to bite. But I really struggled in practice there, and I'd only catch like I'd maybe catch like 1 4 or 5 pounder a day. This is like doing big hours too, and then mate like a couple around like 1 or 2 pounds. I was like, far out, this is going to be tough. And then I made the decision. I was like, well, I'm just going to go all out. I'm going to run to the lake where it usually gets one because I know there's big fish there. And I just figured out a finesse jig bite on the day of the tournament and had almost 25 pounds that first day. And I was sitting in like 11th place, and I was like, how good is this?
You're like, I love smallmouth.
Yeah.
Oh, when they're on, they're so easy to catch, but when they are off, they are
like
The
once you
worst.
out, it's good, but like until you get everything sort of dialed and like in place, it's like you can never get them to bite. Like
No.
I was throwing like minnows at them, and they would just like come up, flush it, and I was like, far out, how do I get these things to bite?
It's the best when you're like over 40 and they shoot all the way up 30 feet and then just tail off at the last. Like, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they put so much effort in there to get there. Like, have a go.
Yeah.
Have a go. I
You
like
know,
it.
they come up at 100 miles an hour and just stop and then
Yeah,
go
yeah.
down slowly. It's like, nope.
Oh,
Yep.
Pricks.
Yeah.
Daily life.
What was for that event specifically, man? Because like obviously that's the biggest water you fished this year. Like just trying to figure out a place to go start and practice. What was like the process in your head of like, I'm gonna at least start here and go from there? Like what led you to choose? Did you just put it in the boat and just go, or did you have like a certain process?
yeah, like obviously Bass Live is a huge thing, so you get to see like all the hot spots, and you kind of like you watch like Bass Live and go, okay, that's what he's fishing. Like he's fishing that ledge with an uprise and stuff like that. So I just kind of try and like duplicate that, and if I'd find like an area that had like a lot of good looking stuff in it, I'll just start there. And I just knew if I get around an area where there's a lot of like high percentage areas, I can like learn the fish a lot quicker. Whereas if I'm like trying to find an area where there is at least a bass, I would like be wasting a lot more time. And I thought if I can get around as many fish as I can on the first day, I can at least start to learn these smallmouth, get an idea of how they act and stuff. And then I can go all the way to the lake, try and see if I can get those big ones to bite. And like it never really usually works out in practice, but I try and like almost break it down. Like when I first came over, I tried to break the lake down into 3 different areas and like spend a day on each area. But it kind of ended up working out like by the time I did the last area, I was like, damn, that first area or the second area I went to was better. I should have just stayed there and figured that out a bit more and sort of milked it out. So I've sort of just been, the last couple of events, I've just gone, okay, this area is like historically good. I'm going to spend my first day there. And then if it was good, I'll just spend the rest of practice there. And like Lake Champlain, I spent my first day there in the inland seas, and I had like 22 pounds on my first day there. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I was like, we are set. And then next day, sort of expanded on it, had like 21. I was like, yep, looking good. The last day, I went like on the main lake, sort of north. I went down south a little bit. I had like 15, 16 pounds. I was like, okay, I got to spend it in the inland lakes. And then come tournament day or the off day, so all through practice, we had like glass calm weather, and these fish were like bait balling up high, like chasing bait. And first off day we had, it was just blowing its guts out. Like I think it was coming from the north, just ripping down the lake. The next day of the tournament, it was blowing from the south, like ripping, and went out there, and like all those high bait chasers were all gone, and not having the experience to like know what to do, I was just like, far out, like what do I do? And I was just running all my areas, and there was like no fish on them, there was no bait. And talking to my mate Sam Hangy, he did really well, and he sort of figured out, he was fishing the same area, and he figured out like when that wind blew, the bait goes from up high and like goes right down to like 40 foot. And he was catching them sort of 40 to 50 foot, and he finished out like 5th place. He got a top 10, and so I just didn't adjust right and make the right decisions. But I think I had too much of a good practice. I couldn't like leave the areas I was fishing or the way I was fishing, but it's all sort of learning.
That's part of it, dude. I feel like every tournament guy will tell you that is you have a good practice. I mean, you hear always the cliche of it's never a good sign to have a good practice, but like it's hard to get away. Like when when you get something that seems promising in practice, it's hard to not lean on that hard on tournament day. It's hard to leave it too.
Yeah, I think on my way up too, I was literally listening to that podcast you guys did with Seth, and he was saying
Yeah.
if you have a podcast like a good pre-fish, it's like usually a bad sign. And that first day I had like 22, and I was like, oh, this is not good. Like 4 more days until I got to fish the tournament. I'm just smashed on the first day. Like, oh, just it gives you good hope, but then you just think in the back of your mind, like, wish I was doing this on the tournament day.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's a bittersweet. You're like, this is fun, but this also sucks at the same time.
Like,
Yeah,
what is gonna happen now? Like,
yeah.
crap.
Can only go down here.
Yeah. Well, dude, you're in 41st right now for EQ standings, and you said this is your first year as a boater.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, against the field of anglers that you're up against, that's pretty damn good. That's pretty
Yeah.
damn good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't really be disappointed. Like, it's just kind of hard because like with the 3 events, it's like if you have one bad tournament, you're pretty much like way down there. Like, great example is like Laker Howe. Like, he was smashing it all year, and he had that one bad event in Lake Champlain and wins the next one, and he's tied for the same amount of points as I am. And like he should have been he should be making the elites, like almost definitely. Like he's won 2 events this year, couple of top 10s. Like, he's been smashing it. But that's the hard thing about these EQs is you got to have like 3 stellar tournaments. Like, everything's got to go right. But like, even just making EQs, I'm happy to be here. So just going out, having a bit of fun, learning as much as I can, and sort of like I'm more excited for next year than in the next tournament, because like now, like learning what I have learned, I'm just like, holy crap, I was so far behind the 8 ball. Like, I never even knew how to like catch a bass off live scope before I came over here, because I'd only fished at the back of the boat, and I got to throw a minnow at a bass for the first time. And like, even one of the first events we had was Clark's Hill, so we were throwing like real small minnow baits and like little jerk shads and stuff. And then the next event was Texas, so it was Sam Rayburn. It was all winter, so it was all like minnow scoping tournaments, and I kept using like those 3 and 4 inch baits in Texas. And I was just lucky enough. I had like Jack York. I was rooming with him. He's like, dude, you need to be throwing big stuff here. I'm like, really? And then I learned about the Sakamata there, and then all that sort of stuff. And like, knowing
Tommy, I have a question for you. On Clark's Hill, how was it fishing in snow for the first time?
Dude, I'd never even seen snow. And then like week leading up to it, it was like a snowstorm was coming in, and when we were in Alabama here, and I was like, are you kidding me? And I was sleeping in the camper, and Kyle comes like knocking on the door like 4 a.m. He's like, dude, you got to come out and see this. And I like opened the door, and there's just like, it looked like Christmas, man. There was like snow everywhere. I was like a little kid and running around the snow. We made like a snowman and all that. But come class,
That's awesome.
like we literally drove from Alabama to Georgia, and the whole way there was snow. And I was like, this is like a Christmas movie or something. It's just absolutely unreal. And we got there, and then the snow kind of melted over practice. First day of practice, there was like little bits of snow on the bank still, but the off day, it like had a massive snowstorm again. And the last day of practice, and the whole deck of the boat, I have to show you a photo. The whole deck of the boat was just covered in snow, and like all the hatches were icing over. And that first day of the tournament, I can't remember his name. Like, I think his Instagram was like ZRG Fishing, and his boat got like stuck to the trailer, like ice stuck to the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to rock it off at like 4 a.m. in the morning, and like guys'
CRG.
live wells were iced in.
Yeah. And that was Zach Gutremont, I think is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a northern boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from up here.
He should have been prepared. Come on.
I know, you should have known.
That's what I'm about to say.
Yeah. But
That's so crazy though, dude. Were you excited to fish in the snow, or were you like, screw this, I'm going back to Australia?
yeah, I was excited as hell. Like, I was like, this is epic. And then once the snow started to melt, I was like, yeah, I'm not about snow anymore. Because
You're like, I've had my time with it. I'm done.
That's
But
awesome.
Oh, that's
cool
funny, man.
like for the first ever Open, like in a snowstorm, like the weather this year just itself has been crazy. Like this, for my first ever season, we had a snowstorm. We had a day cancelled. Sam Rayburn was a one-day shootout because it was like ridiculously high winds. Norfolk, there was tornadoes and hailstorms, and like it's been the most wild year I've ever seen.
It's been wild for us too. I mean, it's pretty unprecedented. Just every year, it's just
everywhere.
Like, yeah, you're like, well, it can't get much worse than this year. But the next year says, "Hold my beer, I'll show you something." And it's just wild, man.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah, those
I feel
states, those states that you're talking about driving through snow and having it look like Christmas, like that's very not normal. That does not. happen.
Yeah,
that's what everyone said. It's like a once in a 10-year thing. Like so rare. It just happened to be I was there at the right time. I'm actually pretty happy to see it. But
yeah, go up to where Deacon or Andy or I are at around like that January, February time, and you'll get more snow than you probably ever want. But down there though, yeah, they don't like the white stuff falling from the sky. That's for dang sure.
oh man, like towns are like shutting down here. Like they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah, they don't have the plows and the salt and everything that up here in Buffalo we have a good fleet of 1,000 snow plows that are with I don't even know, like basically Mount Everest worth of salt mountains here in Buffalo. They're just ready to deploy at any moment because we get like 5 feet in a day. But
that's crazy. So the ice melts the road. Oh, the snow on the road, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the salt. Yeah, like they'll come through with these giant plow trucks when the snow comes down, and they have like the plow in the front, and then the back they have like a little. I don't know if you've ever seen like when you're the things you can use in your yard, where like with what the hell is the word?
The fertilizing push cart.
It's kind of like that with the little spinny thing that just shoots the fertilizer around. It's that, but salt, and they do that, and it's constant in the winter, which is why our trucks in the north, our vehicles are all like
rusted.
The exterior looks like crap because we have salt all over our vehicles and all that stuff. But
they get
that's a whole different deal.
Can't really wash it off too. Like,
no.
It gets in all the cracks and crevices you hope it doesn't get into, so you can never really get it off your car. But like the crazy thing is though, like down there where you're at, if they get an inch, they shut down for like 3 days. We get an inch and they kind of laugh. We get 2 feet's about like where things start slowing down up here.
Yeah, but you say slow down. That's slow down for a morning, and then we're back to it.
Yeah, like when I say slow down, I mean until the plow goes by.
Yeah. That was one of the crazy things when I was up at Leech Lake. They were talking about how the whole lake ices over, and there's like they were saying like if you put on Apple Maps and you want to get on the other side, it'll take you like across the lake, like it's like a generic road to take. And I was like, are you kidding me? I don't know if they have it on, but
yeah, I mean up there, dude. Yeah, and northern Minnesota, that is ice fishing central. Like that is the hub of the ice fishing community up there. They're like, I mean, dude, you could go up there in December and see the whole lake is covered with like ice shanties and trucks and things. Like it's a weird feeling driving on an iced over lake in a vehicle, but it's a way of life up there in the winter, man. You gotta keep busy somehow.
Yeah. It's definitely it's beautiful up there too. Like that's the only thing that would ever stop me from being able to live up there is the long winters. I reckon just brutal.
I've said
you sound like a snowbird, dude.
I've said it forever, man. Like the 2 places that I could live, like that whole Champlain, Vermont, New York zone, I could live there no problem. I would just have to have a summer place or a winter place in the summer, like down in Florida or something else.
So like get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It just gets cold.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, the ideal scenario is, and I've said this to my wife, and I'm just going to keep saying it and hoping and praying that we could eventually do it. She'll never do it, but Texas from November to like April, and then up north May to October. That is the most ideal scenario.
That's the move.
That's my long-term plan. Probably is staying out west, so it's Idaho from those dates, and then probably like Arizona on the other days.
Yeah, I think Arizona would probably be the most, like Arizona and Florida, right? Like might be like your 2 most
snowbird
climate controlled areas. But the issue with Arizona is you go up 1,000 feet in elevation and you have 100 inches of snow. So
I love that. Versatility. Yeah.
Yeah, keep it up there. Keep it up there.
Like you'll be in Phoenix and it's 75, but you go to Flagstaff 2 hours up the road and it's like 17. There's 115 inches of snow on the ground. So like,
Yeah, that's
You
what's
couldn't tell
crazy.
Tommy. Andy is our meteorologist.
Yeah, he's the weatherman.
Yeah.
That's what's
So-
crazy about this country is like every state is so vastly different. Like
Mhm.
in Australia, like if you look on a map, Australia isn't that much smaller than America, but I think we've only got what do we got? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 states, and like they're huge. Like Queensland, the one I live in, is like you can drive 20 hours north and you're still in the same state. And
Wow.
like it's
That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like the whole drive, like there's very subtle differences. Like a little bit, obviously weather's going to change a bit, but like the trees and all that stay the same. But if you go from like 20 hours from Florida to Champlain, like it is like a different country.
Oh, yeah.
In one. Like even when I went from Alabama, I was driving south from here, and you go like you start getting like the bayou area, like the real alligator country, and then you all of a sudden it's like this flat. There's like palm trees everywhere. It's like a tropical island. It's like Fiji. I was just like, this is unbelievable. The weather down there, though, oh my god.
Oh, crisp, yeah.
Yeah,
Step outside, need a shower.
yeah, pretty much, dude. Like some of the rainstorms that came through, and like the wind was just relentless. But fishing's epic down there, and yeah, like every state's just crazy, so different.
Yeah. It's cool, man. The more you keep exploring too, the more it's going to be, especially from a bass fishing standpoint, it's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty soon, dude, Carl's going to start suckering you into elk hunting. I mean,
Yeah.
just give it time. It's the general progression. It feels like people that come over here.
Oh, yeah. That
That's
looks
right.
awesome. Some of the country you go through to chase those elk, unbelievable.
It's
Did
awesome.
you do much hunting back in home in Australia?
I sort of got into pig hunting a little bit when I was younger with my dad, like bow hunting for like pigs and stuff, but did a heap of target practice, and we went out to the lake because like they'll get on the edges of the lake and sort of like rut in the mud and stuff, and we'd see them, but we never ended up landing a shot on any of them. And I sort of grew up in like a country town, like out near this lake, and then my parents split up, and me and Dad moved down to the Sunshine Coast, which is where I sort of grew up from there. And that's pretty much it kind of went from hunting and fishing to like surfing, spearfishing, and fishing. So I just changed my way of life almost completely, and then sort of left those hunting stuff behind and started surfing a lot and stuff like that. And it was just, yeah, hunting. I've always wanted to get into it more, but never really had the opportunity either. Just being so far away from it, I guess.
Yeah, and now fishing's just number one, top of mind for trying to get on the elites, I imagine.
Yeah, it's always the top of the mind. Like, only time I sort of surf was like if I had like some spare time towards the end, but like fishing is just, and like to be able to compete over here too, you have to be like on it every day. Like some of the kids that are in the opens, man, like they're fishing every day. Like it's crazy. I don't know how they freaking do it, but
Yeah, I mean, we just had Spencer Sheffield on last week, and basically, he fishes when he's at home. He fishes 5 days a week, and the rest of the time he's traveling to tournaments. That's nutty to me.
That's crazy.
That's being dedicated to your craft. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, like once
I want to know how.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, once they start doing so well, like they start winning so much money too. Like, and that just like reinforces them to sort of keep doing it. Like once you start,
right? You don't have to. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, once you start doing well, you start getting like your finances start getting backed up hard too, and then they just become like relentless machines.
Relentless.
Say that.
Truth.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Andy?
Oh, I totally lost my train of thought.
Squirrel.
If it comes back, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Tommy, it's time for one of our favorite parts of the show, and that is our Amped Outdoors electric take. And this is where we ask a bold question, hoping for a bold answer. And obviously, Amped is our preferred choice of lithiums here at Serious Angler. But for you, man, our question is: since coming to the States, and obviously I'm sure everybody you run into from, talking with Carl getting here, running with Gussie and Jamie Bruce. What has been the single most impactful piece of advice you've been given that has benefited you in your chase to going professional bass fishing?
God, I've had a lot of advice. God, that's a hard question to answer. You caught me off guard there.
Yeah, we don't give our guests any prep on this show. We're very unprofessional in that regard.
Truth.
Yeah, like advice, like life-wise advice.
It could be anything, something that sticks with you on the daily while you're in your van right now doing this podcast, fishing. You're saying 70 days in a row. Like, what sits with you every day that kind of pops in your mind?
I got a funny one for you. I know Carl told me, he gave me this advice when I first came over. He said, never stay in a motel that has a number in the name, like Motel 6. And
That's kind of genius. Wow. That is wicked smart. I have never heard that.
And he gave me heaps of advice on different stuff. And that one, I was like, yeah, okay. But like, if I ever get stuck, obviously I'm just going to stay in one of them. And the first Motel 6 I stayed in, I finished up Toledo Bend, and I had to get back to Alabama. And I was like halfway through, I was in Jackson, Mississippi, and there was this Motel 6 off the side of the highway. I was like, yeah, we'll rip that one. Walk in, it's like 11 o'clock. I fished all day, super tired, go in, check in. And she's like, we've only got smokers' rooms left. I'm like, okay, that'll do. Go in, and I'm like walking up to the door. And it was like out of a movie scene. There's like this pool in the middle that was completely drained. There's like bushes growing in it. And the whole place was... There's like people like outside open the doors, like looking at me as I'm walking past. And I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. Got my backpack on with all my clothes in it, walking up to the door, and like this massive pit bull like comes up to one of the doors barking at it. And I was like freaking out. But that advice there, I've never stayed in a motel with a number in its name again since I've had that experience. Carl the first time, but
that is incredible, dude. I don't think you could top that advice. Yeah. That's pretty damn good.
Genius.
Carl's learned this like a lot of stuff the hard way, and he's trying to teach me the same stuff, but I'm sort of too hard headed. I got to learn it the hard way too.
I know you told me not to do this, but I got to try it once to prove you wrong.
Yeah, well, now you know Carl doesn't lie.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I mean, so kind of, I guess, going off of that, any other, what's the wildest story from the road being in America, never seeing it? Like, what's the craziest thing that you, maybe it's not crazy, but to you it was crazy because you're here, like, or it's something that crazy has just happened?
We've had a lot of crazy stuff happen. Like, I don't know if you guys know about it, but I got like kicked out of the country before. Like,
yeah,
no way. I heard
about that.
That was probably the most terrifying time of my life. So my first trip over here was on an ESTA visa. So the ESTA, it gives you 90 days in the country, and it's to like allied countries like Australia, I think New Zealand, and like all the sort of closer countries. And I booked my flights from, I think it was the 18th of March to like June. I got the dates, and I pretty much did the same like number on each side. So I thought, yep, there's like 30 days in a month. I should be sweet. And one of the months had like 31 days in it. And I didn't even think of it. Got through customs, and he's like, how many days are you here for? I'm like, I'm flying out this date. He's like, yep, good to go. So I never heard anything from it. And I'm living my life, fishing as a co-angler, and go to fly out. Like my girlfriend, she came over for a few months, for a few weeks. And I got a crazy story with that too. But she came over, and then we flew back together and went through customs again. They didn't say a thing. And just before I left, Carl was like, it was like halfway through the season, like in June. And he said, if you want to come back for like 2 months, I'll take you up north. We'll go do like a northern swing together. He's like, you can just hop in the car with me, come do some marshalling, and I'll teach you smallmouth. And I was like, dude, I'll be there. So I went back, worked like at the workshop for like 2 weeks, got a bit of cash together, and then booked my flights on the way back. And I didn't book. The first thing I didn't do wrong was obviously stay in the country too long. But then when I booked my flights, I didn't book a return ticket. So I friggin' flew over, and the flight I took was like halfway through, like going through Hawaii. So flying to Hawaii, it took me like 14 hours or 15 hours to get to Hawaii. Fly in, and just like this red flag come up straight away, and they pull me aside, put me at the back in customs, and I'm like, oh my god, like this. It was a little bit scary, but I thought, like the Aussie mentality is like, she'll be right. Like, I'm
She'll
sure
be
this
right.
well, she'll be right. I'll be out of here soon. I was there for like 4 hours, and this lady starts like, she takes me at the back, and she's like interrogating me, like asking me all these questions, like screaming at me, like saying, because I was going to travel with Carl, they thought I was going to work for him and stuff, and they're like, "You're trying to work over here. You're trying to do this." I'm like, honestly, like I'm just coming over here to travel and spend money in your country and fish. Like, and I had to like do like all these interrogation stuff, and after hours, I was like so drained. I slept like 1 hour on the flight, and I had this girl screaming at me for like 4 hours, and then she's like, "All right, you're gonna have to get sent back to Australia." And the next flight wasn't for 3 days, so I got to spend like 3 days in Hawaii on parole, which I've never been on parole in my life. It was
What the hell?
like, this is crazy. So I got this motel. I was like so shaken up. I ended up getting this crazy like sickness because I was just like freaking out, like so run down and stressed. And like, she's like, "You got to be here at 5:30 in the morning, and if you're not here at 5:30 in the morning, like police will come and get you, take you to jail, and you will never be allowed in the United States again." And I'm just like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Like, I've messed up big time here. And so I had the last night before I had to like get out of the country. I couldn't sleep all night. I was having like nightmares of like cops coming in and like pulling me out of the bed, and got up like
Yeah.
6 o'clock in the morning, and like I walked to the airport from this motel because I just wanted to get there as fast as I can. I didn't want to muck around with Ubers or anything. Get to the airport, and they like grab my bags, and these two cops like grab me by my arms, and they walk me through the airport, dude, like with two cops like beside me. And it's like there's so many people in the airport lined up to get on the plane, and it was so embarrassing. They walked me through the aisle, and I was the first one to get in the plane, and they walked me all the way through the plane while holding me all the way to the back, put me on the back seat, and then I had another 15-hour flight to get home. And I was just like, oh my god. And the crazy thing was,
That's a little egregious for
yeah,
that. It's not like you like you killed somebody. Like, what in the world?
Yeah, they don't muck around, man. Like,
No, I had a friend. So actually, funny enough, his here in Boise, Idaho, I've got two friends that met, like husband and wife met in Australia.
yeah,
And she had a very similar story, like where basically, but she was traveling on a work visa in Australia, they were both working in Australia.
yeah,
And same thing, like accidentally, like couple days over the visa allotment, got flagged at the airport, and it was like interrogated, like freaking out, like could
yeah,
not, they grabbed her, like it was like crazy. Like it sounds like that's a real thing.
yeah. They don't take it lightly to it, that's for sure. And crazy thing was, like, I wasn't allowed to use my phone the whole time while I was in customs. And as soon as they as soon as they got me to the airport, I wasn't allowed to use my phone or anything. So I didn't know what flight I was getting on, like where I was flying to. Like all that they were doing was flying me back to my home country. So I hop on this plane, and they're like, "Yep, you're getting flown to Melbourne," which is like, it's like a 25-hour drive to get down there. So I got flown to Melbourne, land in Melbourne, and I'm like, holy crap, I can finally use my phone. Had to book a flight to get back home again. And it was just such a crazy,
Jeez.
like the whole time I was sick on the plane. It was probably the most stressful time of my life. And obviously because that's happened, it's made my life really hard to get back in the country now. So like, when I got back, I was like trying so hard. Carl's like, "Dude, you still got time to get over here." And I'm like trying to find like a lawyer to help me out, because they were like, the ESTA that I was on originally, now I can like never be on that tourist visa again from what's happened. So I have to have like a actual bit, like the visa I got now is a B1, which is like a extended holiday visa. So I had to get that, and the only way to do that is like through a lawyer. And I had this guy hit me up, and he's like, I know a friend in Canada, he'll help you out. I was like, sweet. I was on the phone to him, and he's like, yep. So pretty much it's like I had to pay like $7,000 up front, and then like they would have to like every time they'd like work on it, they'd take money out of it, and then I have to refill it every month. And I was like, I cannot afford this. This is crazy. So sort of lost the opportunity to come over and fish with Carl, and I was like so buggered, but still wanted to get here for 2025. And Gussie had a guy hit him up who's his name's Alexander Carl, and he's a lawyer from California, and he loves fishing, surfing, like absolute legend. And he hit me up. He's like, Gussie told me about your story. He's like, I want to help you out. And I was like, dude, that'd be great. So he hooked me up with a visa, and so I paid the first half of the visa. It was nowhere near the price of what I paid, like what I had to pay with this other guy. Like it was so much cheaper. So I had to pay this first half of the visa, did all this paperwork and stuff, and then I had to fly to Sydney, like a 4-hour flight down south to Sydney, do a visa interview at the I can't remember what they call it, but it's just like a big building in Sydney. You have to be all dressed up, give them a reason why you wanted to come to the country, and then if they accept it, they give you your passport back with your visa and stuff, and then you're right to go. So that gives me 10 years, and I can spend 6 months here. But the guy Alex, who did the visa for me, he said, dude, just do a social media post for me. I'll wipe the rest of the bill for you. Like, I want to help you out. And I was like, what a legend. So without that,
That's
like,
epic.
out
Wow.
there, crazy. But like every time I fly in, I'll show them my passport, and they like look at the passport, scan it, they look at me, and they're like, did you mess up with the ESTA? And I was like, yeah, I stayed like 4 hours over. And they're like, sorry, man, but I'm going to have to send you out the back. And then I'll be out the back in customs for like 4 hours again. Then I have to do another interview, get through, and then I'm good to go.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
It's rough.
Yeah. It's
Dude,
and
that's the whole time you just I just want to catch a bass, man.
I'm just trying to go bass fishing.
yeah.
Just try to do the most American thing there is. Come on,
Yeah.
let me be.
yeah. But I just
That's crazy, dude.
there's just always so many issues with people trying to get in and stay for longer, and what I did doesn't look good on paper, so it always gets red flagged, I guess.
They keep hammering you.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I mean, the only problem I see, like if I saw you come through the airport, the only thing I see problem wise is I'm probably gonna drink too many beers with this guy. That's the only bad flag somewhat that I get. And that's not even a bad flag. That's a good thing. It's I don't know, dude. That's just egregious to me, but I guess
They're just doing their job, unfortunately.
yeah.
Stop being logical, Andy. Right? Stop being logical.
The logical weatherman, I guess we could say, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, but Tommy, I got a question for you real fast. Like, you got bear fishing and bass fishing. Like, are there any baits and techniques that you've seen translate from back home to here that work just as well?
The biggest thing was definitely the minnow, like the minnow bait. That, like when Jacob Wheeler came over and did it end of last year, like it was crazy how much it dominated. Like I got to see it over there when I was there for 3 months in 2023, but I tried it a bit, but I didn't try it properly. Like when he came over, obviously he like exposed it like crazy, and now like throwing a minnow is like the biggest thing in Australia. Like everyone's throwing like the Raid fish roller and everything. Like they're all onto it, and but that's probably been the biggest thing that like from barramundi fishing to here, I've tried a few different techniques, and like all of our techniques are super similar, but it's like vastly different. Like throwing a jerkbait, this is like I sort of like cut my teeth throwing a jerkbait on barramundi in Australia, and I was sort of me and another guy, Steve Morgan, were like the two guys that figure out how to catch really good fish on a jerkbait using live scope and sort of dominate tournaments. And I've got one of these jerkbaits here from Australia, and like this is one of my main sponsors. It's Samaki, and that's the jerkbait. And you can see it's only small. This thing's only 80 mil, but it's built with all through wire, like 100-pound split rings on there, and the things are built tough. But the crazy thing is with the bass over here, you want to like jerk it, rip it real fast, and the jerkbait's going left, right. With the barra, they are like some of the most timid fish you'll ever see, and like they're kind of like I try and explain to people who've never done it. It's like if you have a deer, it's like trying to throw a rock past it, and then you got to drag the rock up to it without like spooking the deer. And it's the same with these jerk baits. If you throw it at them and you wind it in, as soon as that lure starts like swimming and like vibrating, they just spook. So you got to like throw it past them, and like you put your rod tip up and just like crawl it in so it's not swimming, so it's just like drifting towards them. And like you'll see them like we're using perspective view, so you can see the fish swimming and you can see a lure land and sort of gauge the sort of interception. And the thing with this jerkbait is like it's got a super wide bill on it, and so once it gets up to the fish, you can just stop it there. This thing like suspends perfect, and you wait for the fish to intercept it, and like they'll see it, and you'll watch their attitude change, and they'll kind of like stop. They'll pull their fins out, and you sort of see them tune in, and they'll like come in real slow on it, like they've just found it, like trying to be sneaky. And when we first found out about it, like you, as soon as they'd see it, you just, if you moved it once, that would spook. So you just had to let it sit there, and it'd just go bang after like 5 seconds. But now it's kind of like they get up on it and they get right under it, and you just got to go like tap. And because it's got such a wide bill on it, it kind of just like moves a little bit, but doesn't go too far forward. And you watch them like flare up, put their fins out, and then you can sort of, what Steve Morgan calls it, he calls it the Parkinson's twitch. So like you sort of shaking your rod tip like this, and this sort of just going like left, right, and they just go bang. But like it's so different.
Crazy.
Still using the jerk bait, but we're using these tiny little finesse jerk baits, and it's a crazy fish to target. And coming over here, seeing how hard you got to make them react, like you got to get them excited on the jerk bait for them to eat it, rather than like if you leave it there too long, they just kind of look at it. Once they get a good look at it, they're just like, yeah, I'm not going to eat that.
It's like the exact opposite.
Yeah, exact opposite.
Yeah. My mind though goes to, is there gonna, I mean, we're seeing the effect of forward facing on these fish, right? Like they're getting pressured to this point. But I've never thought of it like the sneakiness of crawling to a fish. You know what I mean? Are we gonna get to the point with bass? You know, I'm thinking like, if you know, like I think about it like bed fishing. You know there's a fish there. I've even like, you know, casted onto the bank, right? And then dragged the bait into the water to make it quieter. But like I almost wonder if we're going to be doing this on forward facing at some point, exactly like that, where it's like super sneaky to get near that fish, then make them react.
I think we're already there, dude.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
100% there. At least here.
With how many people that are throwing out 110, 120, because if it gets any like between 50 feet or closer, certain fisheries, like they won't even
Sure.
give you any mind. Like they're already swimming away. And I mean, I found it too. Like if you burn a jerkbait at a fish, it spooks some of them. Or like you get a minnow and you cast on top of that fish, even if it's that fish is 15 below the surface, just the splash, they're already spooking from it. Where it's, I think we're there to a degree, but I don't see why at this rate why we won't get there, which gives Tommy the edge. I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, because I agree. I mean, we see it, right? Like, I see it on forward facing with the drop shot. Like, the noise of the drop shot weight hitting the water is so consistent, right? That same, like, bloop, like, and then those smallmouths will just boom, gone at times. And so it's like, you know, I like this idea with a jerk bait, though, of being like nice and easy all the way up to them. And then, you know, so I don't know. It's super neat to think about, but that's cool that that's how you have to target those fish.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like we have to lee cast those barras so far now, like because they're getting so pressured. But I went there for a 3-month gap, and so I had to make some money, and we had like 3 months off. So I went back home, worked for a couple of weeks, and then did like live scope training, and I couldn't believe how pressured these fish had been in the last 6 months. I was like, holy crap. And I had like 2 guys in the front of the boat, and it was like glass calm conditions. And we'd have a fish come in at like, we'd have the scope at 120 foot, and you'd see them come in at like, they get to 100. And I'm like, all right, guys, cast like 1 o'clock. They'd cast over there. And sometimes like the older guys would sort of like move their body a little bit when they'd cast, and the boat would rock. And as soon as that boat rocked, before the lure even landed, the fish was like, poof, like they would swim off. And I was like, oh my God, they are in tune. So, and my mate Jack York, he's a guide in Texas. He guides Lake Fork. And the funny thing was, he said the same thing about the jerkbait there in Lake Fork. He said if you got a brush pile and there's a big one, he said, most people just start jerking it to get it down to that depth. But he said, best thing you can do is like just crawl it up to that brush pile. As soon as it gets over top of it, go whack. And they'll go, oh, what's that? Like all surprise. So,
Where'd you come from?
yeah.
Food.
So
That's wild,
great.
dude.
It's gonna get tough. Like you can already see how tough it's gotten. Like I fished that Wheeler Lake event just recently, and there was so many guys fishing the same stump stretch over and over again. And you'd have like 60 fish come up, look at your jerk bait, and then one of them looked like he'd never seen a lure and just eat it. So it's getting so ridiculous out there.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Great.
I feel like we could talk to you for hours. And so we're definitely obviously going to be getting you back here on the show. But to wrap this sucker up, you've listened to the show, so you probably know what's coming. You might be one of the few people that have an inkling of preparedness for this question, but being that it is your first time on the show, man, to cap things off, if you could invite any 3 individuals to sit down, have a steak, have a beer, pick their brain, and the spiel, whether they're alive now or alive 1,000 years ago, doesn't have to be fishing. What 3 people are you going to invite? Have a steak, a beer, pick their brain.
God, like in the fishing industry, it'd have to be Aaron Martins would be one of them, Jacob Wheeler, and Brandon Polinick. Like to have those 3 guys in a room would be insane. I reckon.
Yeah,
learn a fair bit off those.
Agreed.
What if they weren't fishing people? Is there anybody top of mind that you want to talk to?
Not too much really. I'm sort of
you don't fish, I don't care.
people in the fishing industry, so
I love it. Heck yeah, dude. Well, for real, Tommy, thank you so much for taking time out, man. It's been really good to get you on the show. It's been a lot of fun. And hopefully, will you be at the Classic this coming March?
I don't know yet. I think hopefully I can make it.
You will be because you're going to win Okeechobee, and so you're going to make the Classic.
Smart.
And yeah.
I've only got to catch 30 pounds a day. It should be pretty easy, I reckon.
yeah. Easy peasy. But if you are, beers are on us. But man, we definitely got to get you back on here, and obviously we're going to be supporting you and your journey to go professional. We can't have one Aussie on tour, right? We need to have 2. So
yeah, another one.
That's right. Yeah, but man, for folks that are tuning in, your social media and all that stuff to give you a follow and support your journey will be down below for people to click on those links and give you a follow. But is there anything else the folks should know about you before we tune out here?
No, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on here and getting to know you boys a little bit. It's been good. So we'll looking forward to the next one.
Alrighty, folks, that is going to do it for today's episode with Mr. Tommy Wood. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that episode. While he's in Bama, it's kind of a podcast across the world, if you will, from Australia. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like Canadians don't really count as like international interviews to me. I mean, being a Buffalo, right? It's 10 minutes down the road.
Right next to them. Yeah.
Yeah. They just feel like the brethren, man. I don't know.
They're my neighbors.
Like
I can reach out and shake my hand. I feel like sometimes they're so close.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like growing up playing hockey with a bunch of Canadians my whole life, and the fact that literally they are 10 minutes down the road. But like, I don't know. Canadians just feel like 1A, 1B Americans to me. Like they're just the border separates us, but it's just like another state. I don't obviously, and that's not to say political 51st state thing, but like I'm just mean like in general, like I don't look at Canadians as like I look at Tommy's like from Australia. You know what I mean? Like there's a different feel there. But we've had Carl on, obviously from Australia. Now that's Tommy from Australia. We've had Taku from Japan. Technically, if we want to be super technical with it, we've had Emil Wagner on a couple times, and he's from Denmark.
I always forget that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we've had anybody else on international. Like, I don't think so.
No,
we gotta go more
Canadian.
worldwide, boys. We gotta start crossing off some countries. Screw the states. We just gotta start crossing off countries. Do we know anybody from Italy that we want to get up?
Italy, South Africa.
Jacopo? Is that a name? Jacopo?
Yeah, as I was gonna say, the BKK guy.
Galelli? I'm trying to remember how you pronounce his name. I don't want to do it injustice, but there's a few of them. That would be kind of cool. A little international series. We do an international panel. See Try understanding that conversation.
Translator. Google
Yeah.
Translate.
Yeah, I was gonna say all this new AI, dude. You just let them talk, and then it'll just spit it back in whatever language you want.
Yeah, it's very true.
Love it.
That was a fun conversation. Tommy is definitely one that, and obviously we want to do this to everybody, but definitely one I could see having a very fun in-person podcast over some beers. Not that we could keep up with him, but
Yeah.
I think it could be a fun time.
100%.
Absolutely.
Any key takeaways before we wrap this sucker up, boys?
No, I just love like the devotion, right? Like these guys that come in from the international way and they get here and they just drop everything to basically live the American dream. And it's really cool to see because, you know, a lot of people who live in our country won't even try to do half of what these people will do from an international standpoint to travel and to live out a dream, right? Like, and it just shows like no matter how much effort you put into something, somebody's always going to be outworking you and you can do anything that you want.
Well, they have a different level work ethic. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, I view it too. It's like, I think there's a draw and a like absolute respect for all the international anglers. And I think in a positive light, it simplifies your life here, right? Like you are here to do one thing. And so it's a complete devotion to a craft.
Yeah.
And I just think that's super cool. And in today's world, I certainly struggle with just being distracted of like this, then that, and that. Like, there's all these different things. Now it's hunting season, right? It's like, you know, and not even just work things, right? And so being that dedicated towards something, like it shows you the power in that, I think, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Well, folks, hopefully you guys appreciate that one. And similar to our call out on Monday's show with Spencer Sheffield, I know there's a lot of you that listen, especially on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and by the thousands, and we only have a couple hundred ratings and reviews. So if you guys get the opportunity, please take the time, leave us a rating review. Leave a review. Tell Andy's wife that she should have let him keep the stash, which, by the way, we did not talk about on today's introduction.
Listen, if we get 100 reviews of saying keep the stash, she will have zero obligation to tell me no because the people have spoken. So if we get 100 reviews saying keep the stash, I will bring the stash back.
I will keep the tally going. I will start it right now because I'm going to go contact everybody I know and just tell them review because I want the Andy stash back. I could care less about the reviews now. I just want the Andy stash.
We got to throw this on social media, the pic of Andy's, like zoomed in of just his staff, and say, we can bring this glorious mustache back, but we need your help. Okay.
It is all of us versus Amanda. We need the stash back.
We might have to up this up to like 500 reviews so she doesn't truly kill me. But yeah, I kind of miss it. It was the best one yet. It was fantastic.
You just say, honey, you know, I really want the podcast to have 1,000 reviews on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. You know, we could get that if you let me grow my mustache. You know, and I think a supporting wife.
I don't know if you could see it, but there.
Oh, look at that thing! Hold on.
Dude, like, are you freaking kidding me? I just love how you cut it short and you almost went Hitler with it, and it just looks so good.
No, it was just cut right here, nice and trimmed. I didn't Charlie Chaplin it. All right, like, come on now.
Good.
Come on now. It's just where my facial hair ends is like right there.
So good.
And I have this weird little gap. You can see it.
The people want it, Andy. People need it.
Give the people what they want.
That's right.
Come on, Amanda. 100 5-star reviews, and the mustache comes back.
Well, we have over 100. We should 100
new
more.
ones. 100 new ones.
There we go. I like it. Well, anything else besides Andy's stash, boys?
Nope.
All right. Well, folks, that is all. I appreciate y'all as always, and we'll see y'all on the next one.
Yeah.